Did you notice how many blanket stitch options you have for applique? In row 2, stitch number 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Of course, I use all my decorative stitches for applique, so I'm not always stuck into what I call a blanket stitch rut. But look, you have more choices. Stitch out the different ones so you can really see the difference between each one. This one has 2 stitches and then a bite, 1, 2, bite. This one's heavier, so it really looks like you've been doing it with a thicker thread when you haven't. The middle one is my favorite. That one is stitch number 20. It has the most, it's the simple, it's straight down and a bite, straight down and a bite. The next has a little bit more thicker straight stitch, and then this one has a little bit more of a fun zigzag, kind of a quicker stitch to go around. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the machine for the stitch number 20. So we're going row 2 and then also stitch number 20, 2, 0. All right, so notice that the setting comes up about 2 millimeters wide and 2 millimeters long, and that's pretty small, especially if I have a little bit bigger project planned. This is a bigger piece. I don't want it to be so tiny that it looks, well, puny next to what I'm going around. So you do need to kind of get things to be in proportion to the shape of applique. So start off with 3 and 3 for now. And I'm going to show you how having a clear foot, a foot you can see into, is going to be much easier. There's also a foot that is an open toe foot where they cut out this front panel here, making it really easy to do applique. So one of those choices would be a great investment if you plan to do lots of applique so you can see where you're going. Otherwise, the metal foot's a little hard to see through and catch where your corners and curves are going to be. Another thing I like is one of those like slide-on tables you can get from your Husqvarna Viking dealer. It gives you a little bit more work surface instead of just what comes with the machine with the accessory box. Or have your machine sunk down into a cabinet is going to be ideal. Then everything is nicely supported. So as I pick my stitch, I'm going to just make sure that the needle, when it comes down, it's going to come down and kind of on the right side of the stitch, that goes right next to kind of the raw edge. I'm going to lower down my presser foot. Now as I start to stitch, there's those little locking stitches that I want the stitch to go straight along the edge of the fabric I'm going around. Now I have a fun little variegated thread in here. Now as I'm going, I'm watching to where like my point is going to be or my curves are going to be. So I can kind of guess ahead of time, you know, do I need to take one more stitch? Do I need to make the stitch maybe not go forward as far by kind of stifling the stitch? I'm going to just go ahead and take one more. Here's one more, and that looks good. I'm going to just do a quick in and out pivot here, and then turn it, and then keep on going there. But really, it's just kind of a dance that you need to kind of work with. That way you can kind of gauge, okay, do I take one more stitch before I turn? Is it going to jump in or out as I go? Now, as I come up to something with a curve, what I'm going to do is just let that machine stop with the needle on the right side of the stitch, okay? And then just twist the fabric just a little bit. Don't you just love how this machine hovers when I need to do a little bit of a turn? So it's not so, it's very gentle. All right, now you don't want to stop with your needle on the inside of the stitch. You need to get it to go back out. So sometimes what I do is I tap my foot and I get a half a stitch, tap it again, needle sinks down. Now I'm ready to kind of turn. Now another thing is sometimes when you're working around a piece, you're where all the fabric is on the inside of this machine. Remember, you have the mirror image option where you can flip the stitch around so you're actually going the opposite way without all the bulk kind of inside the machine. Keep as much as possible on the outside or to the left of the machine here. All right, so this will just give us a little idea. You also can when you're done, use the fix button. And then that's an on-demand locking stitch. And then you can do the scissors. So it'll stop right where you want it to be. Pulls those threads to the back side so it's perfect right where you end up. Isn't that kind of neat with the variegated thread? Just kind of adds a little bit more extra interest. And then see right where I did that last little stitch, I went and did a bite in and then kept going all the way around. So have some fun with the different applique stitches. Even try some of your other stitches for applique, and you will find that you will always have the right stitch for what you're looking for.